Creativity without strategy is called art. Creativity with strategy is called advertising, and that is by someone named Jeff I. Richards. So, welcome again, and happy New Year to all of y'all. I'm pretending I'm Southern, even though my guest Chip Dizard and I are not Southern, although Southern California, I guess that counts. But I like y'all. Anyway, um, I would love to have you go to lucydumascoaching.com and grab one of my two gifts and let me know if for some reason your links don't work. Um, Currently they are, but technology. Uh, so I recently re-released an episode that I loved by my guest today, Chip. And it was so fun to listen to it again and send it out that I was like, oh my gosh, it's been too long. I need to chat with the great and powerful Chip again. And he said yes. Um, so here's some stuff about him. He is a photographer and an entrepreneur, and he is a powerful teacher who is good at helping creatives grow their business in practical, simple ways, especially in the world of marketing, social media, and how to turn inquiries into real clients. And I fell in love with him when I sat in on a class at, I like to call it Whippy, WPPI, several years ago. And so I'm super happy to get to chat with him again. Um, so I think that's enough introduction and let's get on with the show. So, hey, Chip.
Hey, Lucy, thanks for having me again. I love being here. I love chatting with you, and especially to photographers. And so nice we had to do it twice. So I'm glad to be here.
Oh, I like that. Let's see. So I know that something that has changed a bit since we last talked is your specialty.
Yeah, how many years ago did we talk? I can't remember.
It's
My
maybe three.
three.
Maybe three.
Okay, yeah, three
It,
years. Yeah,
it was
after before the pandemic. Before the
no,
pandemic.
no, it was right after pandemic opened up. So it was the first WPPI after the
Correct.
shutdown.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't think I've been to Whippy since.
I haven't either. I'm planning on going hopefully this year, 2026. That's the
Same,
goal. That's
same.
the goal to go back. I'm not going as a speaker. I'm just going as an attendee. So
Uh-huh.
I'm grateful to just to attend and get back in there. So yep.
Yep. As much as I love PPA imaging, um, I like the idea that I can drive to Las Vegas to WPPI, and I just decided this year that's the one I'm going to. So if anyone's going to Vegas WPPI, say hello. Okay. How long have you been officially a photographer? And tell me a little about when you decided to do that and why.
Wow, it's been a long time. So full time, been about 10 years, and then doing it as a hobby slash part time and just creative about almost 15 to 20, 15, 17 years, a
Mhm.
while. So it's been, I'm dating myself now, but it's a while, but I've been around. And I think I decided because I loved it. I love producing images. I love capturing images and moments. I started, if you go back to the archives, I started really in the church area, and I still work at a church actually, but it was that's how I got into weddings actually, you
Mhm.
know, through referrals and through people at a local church. And I was against it, didn't know what I was doing, and then just kind of fell into it like a lot of wedding photographers do. And then uh, started having some success and then got on the speaking circuit early and I'm just getting back on it because it took a little break after a couple of years. I wanted to
Mhm.
just pivot and focus on business because I believe, Lucy, that everybody needs to go through stuff to speak on it. Sometimes you need there's people that speak on the same thing every year at these conferences. And I'm like, well, you just told me that last year. Or you
Right.
just said that 2 years ago. What have you? I know you evolved a little bit, but like For real, I need to just not say you can't speak every year, but just go through something. And that's what I did. I went through, like most people, the pandemic, we all did, right? And then I decided, I said, you know what? I love wedding photography, but I don't like it anymore.
Hmm.
I don't like it. And I need, and I just, and I, in 2024, 2023, I proposed to my wife. I got remarried. And I
Oh,
said, I want more time. I want to do things a little differently this time around. And that's what I did. I still had some weddings, but I didn't do the 20 to 25 a year, shoot every Saturday, every other Saturday out of the 52 weeks a year. I didn't want that. So I started winding down. So when you have that volume of weddings, you have to do a few things, Lucy. You have to I didn't want to make any announcements because I don't want people to think I was going out of business. Because at the time
hmm.
I had two websites. I had a wedding website. I had my personal website. It's like having two Instagrams and two social medias. One always is not going to do as well as the other. It's just not,
Uh-huh.
right? So I was at the time where I said I'm going to focus on headshots, corporate events, and corporate videos. But really, I didn't have any business, so I didn't know what to do. I had zero leads. I had nothing. And I was like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? How am I going to pivot from this to some people who know me for, and then say all of a sudden, oh, I just want to come shoot your event or your conference, your international conference,
Right, right,
or headshots. So
right.
you know how it is.
Yes. So I'm happy that you made this choice. Do you have kids?
I do.
Okay.
They're teenagers now, two adults.
So
Yeah.
the thing about wedding photography is it is a kind of a sacrifice of our life that I didn't realize. And when you say you're dating yourself with 10 years, I'm like, "Psh, I've been in this 40 years, Chip." And very active for 30 and then started coaching. And, what is it? The wolf you feed is the one uh, that grows or something. And so my portrait business slowed down because I was putting so much energy into helping others, which is, like you, I have a passion for that. But realizing how much, and I loved my 12 years as a wedding photographer, but the events, the parties, the friends, I don't have kids, but if I had kids, which you sacrifice, so I think for people who don't want to make that sacrifice, doing what you've done, which is get your groundwork, learn the business, learn posing, learn lighting, learn relationships, all of that stuff, and then pivot to something else if you're called to it, I think is uh, a valid choice. And I'm kind of glad to hear that with you, although you know, I still watch Say Yes to the Dress because I still love brides and weddings and romance. So I get what you mean about like it, love it. So, okay, so you said I'm going to do headshots and events. Why did you pick that, even though you didn't have a foundation of business for that?
Well, it was one of the things I wanted to work less weekends. All right. That's the
My
thing.
point exactly.
I wanted to work less weekends, but I wanted to see if I can if I did have to work on a weekend, I didn't want to have my whole Saturday or Sunday tied up, or Friday sometimes, you know? And even though there's those odd Thursday, Wednesday weddings, they're far and few between, but I just
Mhm.
didn't want that anymore. So I just looked at what I wanted to do, and then I think that when you have a portfolio, you have contacts, right? You just put it out there, and then you just started the grind. So one of the things I did is look at my local tourism board. One
Mm,
of the things we have, everybody has a convention and visitors bureau in their town, in their city. I'm in a big metro area of Washington, D.C. They have a big one that's called Destination DC. Baltimore has one. Of course, Los Angeles, Chicago, Dallas, every city has one. So I went to them and I said, listen, I'm new to this space. but I want to partner with you. They had a program where they had a mentee program where you got like some coaching on events and not to how to shoot, but just more of the networking part of it. And then
Mhm.
after the coaching, of course, it was a funnel, of course, to get you to sign up for their service. So I did that for about a year while I was still doing it weddings because I had to have some income.
Mhm.
And then after the year, I got some just the mindset and the coaching and got on their portal. And then I started joining their events and just tried to network because I believe that if you want to be somewhere, you have to go where the people are, either event planners, people who are coming to your local city. Because think about it, there's a conference and convention at every city at a major hotel where you are, whether you're small or whether it's 50 miles from you or 20 miles from you, it's there. And I just said, how do I get these people to know who I am? And
Mhm.
part of the reason was to let the people from the tourism board who booked the business know who I am. So it was a process, trust me. It was not an overnight process.
Right.
It was like a 2 year process.
Mhm.
So I spent about 2023 and 2024 on that. And this year, this is last year, 2025, is when I liked it 2024. Most of 2025 is when I really saw it blossom. So it was about a two year process, networking, figuring out, and now I got it. At least,
Awesome.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I got the technical side too, Lucy, from a few photographers. I went to a few conferences and about headshots. It's not really a conference for event and headshot people. It's really just more breakout sessions. It's not like a WPPI or anything like
Mhm.
that. And just learning from people, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was doing weddings, I made friends with a lot of ven vendors and locations. I had the Sheraton hotels that were there were two of them side by side in San Diego, and I had the event coordinator there. Uh, I was one of her main referrals, and she occasionally sent me some events and things. So, did you have some of those kinds of things already in play?
I did. So what I did a little different approach, but I did, but I also knew some event planners. So event planners were very key because if they planned weddings, some of them planned holiday parties, social events, birth, like birthday parties, anniversary. It's something other than a wedding. You know what I mean? It could be a baby shower. I was going to shoot anything, and then the hotels if they have you on a vendor list. I mean, that's a little bit more challenging, but it works,
Hmm.
right? But and then the third thing I did, so I did planners, I did the hotel venues, and the third thing is former brides and grooms. Because think about it, Lucy, we have a bevy of former brides and grooms that actually are professional people, and
Right.
if they're not a decision maker, they know someone in the company that could be a decision maker. And they say, hey, Chip shot my wedding 4 years ago. And they could be the director of HR, the director of communication. If
Mm,
they're not a decision maker, they can forward me to and be that referral source. So a lot of the brides were younger, so a lot of them weren't decision makers, but sometimes they can influence the decision maker to get me on a list to help me out. And I have a few brides that has helped me out, has got me on lists and got me places that I couldn't have gotten myself just because they knew my work from the wedding and they can vouch
right.
for that. Chip did this 4 years ago and he will be good for this
Excellent.
now.
And what comes to mind for me is w- wedding clients aren't just the bride and groom, in my experience.
Correct.
Often I'm dealing with the parents. And
Correct.
because eventually I was high end, the parents had
Pay for it.
fancy jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Were
Mm-hmm.
CEOs and things. So and I would make friends with them as well as the bride and groom. More than half the time, I'd say the parents were involved. So that is an amazing um, bunny trail to go down to think about how your former clients can support you. And people love to support people they love. And I also find, I don't know if it's true with you, that when you get like one or two people that are like true believers that are crazy about what you do, they can bring in so much work. Have you found that?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that we all have to look at that, especially when we start a year, because I think we as vendors sometimes and photographers, we spend so much time chasing what's new and what's next. And sometimes we forget
Right,
about what we have already. And that's where I think most of our business can come from, what we have. And those parents, those aunts, uncles, and you just never know where they work and what influence they have because we
right,
don't, because in the wedding world, it's just there. It's a one, most likely one and done kind of situation, right? Unless you do someone else's wedding
right. In the family.
in the
Yeah.
family, but you just never know.
Bridesmaids.
And they don't think of you as anything else but my wedding
Hmm.
person,
Hmm.
unless it's so. Now I'm doing holidays, and now I'm doing some other stuff, and I'm on not only birthdays but holiday shoots. It could be children's birthday parties
Hmm.
and things like that. So definitely, we have to look not only outward but look inward to see who's already in our who's on our client list, and we have access to them. Right?
Right.
It's not a cold call.
No, no.
Not a cold
And
call at all.
so many of my guests on the show over the last 6.5 years, can you believe that?
Whew, that's great.
Um, have talked about the importance of relationships, and you're bringing in an aspect that we haven't talked about, which is how by continuing and cultivating relationships with our clients and with vendors and all, local businesses, that when we're ready to do something else, we've got relationships that are with people that can support us in the next thing. Is that kind of right with what you're talking about?
Yeah, no, it's exactly what I'm talking about. I just think that we have to be in the mindset of. I think we have to go from the mindset of chasing to nurturing. You
Ooh,
know, and I just made that up. I didn't write that down or anything like
I'm
that.
writing it down right now.
It's something that just came up, right?
Yeah,
So I just don't want. Here's the thing: I don't want people to miss what you already have.
right.
Because and a quick thing is that a few years ago I caught myself doing a lot of things like at the new year that we always do. My calendar was trying to be booked and everything like that, but I didn't think about what was already there.
Hmm.
And that lingered with me because I think we're honest, we always celebrate new stuff, right? We always celebrate new clients, new opportunities, all that stuff. But we don't recognize what we already have
Right.
as much. And I'm trying to, and I think I heard somebody say this is not my own thoughts. It said that humans undervalue what you have and overvalue what's next.
Ooh.
Okay, that's not.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't take quote for that,
Okay,
but
I've got a quote
yeah.
that I don't take credit for, is that it's easier to keep a client than get a new one.
Oh yeah. Oh God, yeah.
And one of the things that has surprised me uh, is how few photographers, even ones that you know are financially really profitable, doing great, don't have a robust email and snail mail list, and don't even send out a holiday greeting or anything ever. And and then there's those times when you're like, "Oh my gosh, I need some business. Things are quiet. What can I do?" Well, one of the best things to do is to go to your client list and, shake the trees a little bit to see if some apples will fall. And over my decades in business, there were many times when I was like, it's way too quiet. What can I do? And I look at like 25 great former clients that could be due for a new portrait. And I just start calling them up and just say hello. And several would be like, we've been meaning to call you for the last month. So do you agree keeping a list uh, and using that list is part of that nurturing? And how else do you nurture?
Yeah, I totally. We have to make sure that we nurture that list. I mean, I have an email list that is followed through multiple systems. As long as you keep that Excel spreadsheet or whatever you have it in, and just you can take it anywhere. It's what you own, right? We know that social media literacy is rented land. I used to teach on social media and ads, but let me tell you, that stuff will change like the wind.
Oh, yeah.
Algorithms will go and come, and I'm telling you, but that stuff that you have that you can actually control, those email lists, the phone numbers, if you use text messages or anything like that, those things, those can happen. And I'm a big proponent for it. And I have one, and I send things out, and I'm grateful that I started that earlier on when I started speaking. So a lot of people that I deal with now, even photographers that even I mentored, I found them on a speaking circuit because I didn't know anything about this.
Hmm.
Even with photographers, with clients, and even with and segmenting people into groups. So
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. One of the things that I always meant to do, but how to get it produced, it was just a little beyond me, was doing quarterly newsletters. And back in my day, when there was no social media, there was just the phone and addresses. And some of the photographers that were always booked were ones that did either a quarterly or a monthly newsletter. And it wasn't a big advertisement, but it kept you top of mind. And I have a mortgage broker that every change of season, she sends out a greeting with a postcard. And
Mm.
how many times do you think I referred her? How many times
Uh,
did I refinance my house as the rates went from 11 to 8 to 6 to 3.5? And I remembered her because I kept always getting this summer card, and they weren't even graphically good, but they reminded me that she's out there and cares about me. So, yeah, doing all the things to stay in touch. One of my friends, all she does is every month she calls like 5 clients to say hello and goes to lunch or coffee with 1 or 2 of them.
mm,
She
mm.
gets referrals, repeats. She's never been social media. She's never done any of that. So that's my little extra contribution is to think about the fact that people like to get mail if it's not junk. Yeah.
And it kept her top of mind, right? It kept
Yes.
her top of mind. So, and that's what we want to do in our business. No matter, hopefully, if it's an email postcard or email or a physical postcard, keep us top of mind because we never know.
Right.
We
Right.
never know.
People don't know if we're still in business. Um, yeah. Okay. What are their marketing tips? We kind of just, instead of like, we're going to now talk about marketing. We've just gently row our boat down the stream of marketing. So, what other things do you think you'd like to share with the people listening this January or when?
Yeah, I would really like. I was talking to a colleague of mine, and we were just talking about. He's in the wedding business, and it doesn't matter what business, whether you're in wedding business or corporate, any photography business. We want to. All of us have the same thing. We want to get booked, right? We want to be
Mhm.
booked and get booked by the right clients. And one of the things that I am passionate about is networking. And in my freebie that I have here in the show notes, I want to show you how to get booked more consistently by event planners. So I want to tease a few things that I have in a free email course. It's a 5-day email course, but it's basically for people to stop chasing new clients. And you know, I think that's the thing. We want event planners and people who have business that can come to us. And one of the things to get on their radar, one of the things that I've looked at when I've been doing these events, especially large events, every large event I've had, Lucy, and whatever you call large, it could be thousands of dollars or 500 or whatever you call large.
Right.
It's come from someone who has referred me, whether it be an event planner or somebody else. It's just not a
Oh,
cold email, just not a cold somebody who comes in. But getting to those people is easier said than done, right?
right.
So I just want to make sure that people know how to get with them. And instead of sending cold DMs on Facebook or social media, Instagram, whatever you do, getting on their radar. And one of the things is we got to show up on these people's radars by offering value first. What can you give instead of, hey, refer me, refer me, refer me? What
Hmm.
can you give in order to get? Because people remember that. I work with an event planner now. We do some photography and some videos, and she does coaching. Okay, and she coaches another event pros. All right, I do a few events for her, not a ton of them, but I know for certain niches she will call me for those events, and I can just say, hey, I ask her, what do you have going on in the next quarter, and we just have that talk. And it's more of conversational, not like use me, use me, use me. It's that relationship. And
Right.
that happens over time. So it's not like a quick, I think we live in a quick 60-second, society. But
Hmm.
what I'm teaching now is more of a slower, more consistent and steady way to keep business. And you want business throughout the year, not just at on those busy times, because we know we're all busy during certain months, right? Summertime, June, July, April, spring, you know.
Right.
But during the winter time, and then during times that are not as busy, we want to get those consistently. And
Oh, okay. So I got hooked on what you can give. So I've been waiting for what kinds of things we can give to event planners to
mhm.
help them, you know, build that relationship with us and get the referrals. So explain your thoughts on the giving aspect, which I love, rather than what's in it for me, what's in it for them.
Mhm. Well, one of the things I know that we can give is our time. And I know people like, well, I don't want to give my time for free or my images for free if I can't get something in return. I know when I did weddings, I did a lot of collaborations, right? Style
Hmm.
shoots, and I did things, but they have to be the right person. So sometimes that's a little tricky because you can do something for free or do something for lower cost in order to get, because here's the thing, if they don't know your work, he or she, how would you even get to know them? So
Right.
for instance, I have a meeting coming up with an event planner in a month of January when this episode will go. I met her at a networking event. I was shooting
Hmm.
for a big a brand called Party Slate. They call Party Slate. I don't know if you heard of them. They're like the wedding wire of like parties. Okay,
Okay.
so I was shooting in DC. I was an official photographer, volunteer, and my goal was to meet people. My goal mindset going in there, because I was shooting it for free, is to get great images, first of all. And then it was during December, it was during the holiday season, early December 2025, and to meet people that I normally would not have met. So I did. I met one of the speakers, the one of the person introduced me to her. I got some good images of her. And then we said on DM and an email, we followed up and we have an appointment set. So in that appointment, what I'm going to do, and this hasn't happened as of this taping, But what
Okay.
I'm going to do is say, hey, what do you have on your calendar for the first quarter of the year? And how can I help you? And
Mm,
you just listen. You don't offer any solutions yet. What do you have? What do you have on the table? What's on your plate? And then you ask, how can I help you? Well, I have this thing. I really need some content, and I really need to get some content out, but I don't have quality images for this. Let's just say she said this. Let's just say
yeah.
she said this. And then I plug myself in where I can go. And if I can't plug myself in, I give a referral to somebody. Because even if you don't do it and you give a referral, guess what you're going to be? You're going to be the resource.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Because a lot of people will say, I don't give referrals because they're not going to use me. But sometimes you go back and be the resource. She'll be on my email list. She'll be on my funnels, whatever you
Mm,
have. But I will make sure that I say, hey, how can I help you first? Instead of, hey, use me, use me, use me. Book me for an event. Here's
right.
my stuff. Here's my pricing. Here's my stuff. So I
Right.
lead, I lead, I lead with that.
Right. When I did weddings, and it was before digital, if I liked a vendor, I would intentionally photograph, uh, like if it's a florist, I would make sure I had
Exactly.
flower photos, both, the bride and all the bridesmaids and the centerpieces and things. And then I would send them a folio, a little stand-up thing with 8 5x5s with my name on it and just mail it to them or stop by and say, if it was a place I could stop by and say, hey, I thought you would want these. So that helped. And then I always referred that, like you said, I was like a hub. So if I liked a vendor that was new, I would refer them 3 times, and I would send a little uh, email or a phone call that said, "Hey, just wanted you to know that uh, you might get a call from this bride." And if they never thanked me, if they never referred me back, I I would drop them off my list most of the time, unless it was like a fabulous cake baker that I just wanted that cake at the wedding if I was doing the job. And then when I did the bridal shows, I referred people all day long, like, okay, what else are you looking for before they left my booth? Oh, cake? Well, my friend Seal at Flower Power, she's around the corner at booth number whatever, and here's go talk to so and so DJ over there. And so people like you, I got probably 50% of my work from referrals, most of them from vendors, and about 30 from other photographers because if I was booked, I would send people to like 2 or 3 of my favorite photographers, and then they started sending work back to me. So, yeah. And so I can see how that could really work, maybe even better because there's more opportunities in the event and headshot slash branding world because they're not just limited to this little, I mean, it's a big niche, but yeah, turning that same concept, um, and uh, like Chamber of Commerce is not always the best for some things, but I can see how it could be a gold mine for uh,
Yeah.
headshots and events.
And business owners, because usually and even if they don't use you, they'll know someone, or someone will know in a chamber or some kind of event space will know you for there. So no, I think it's just using the same process, just using different technologies nowadays. If it's an email list, we used to use a postcard or in-person drop off, or
Mhm.
some people are using text messages, some people are using direct messages on Facebook and Instagram. So
Right,
I think it just depends on where you are. But the value proposition for me is always to give first, to ask last.
right, right, right.
And once you give, And will you get all the time? No, but you have to meet with these folks and be strategic about that and learn
Right.
from there.
And we're not like coming from that place of generosity that I hear from you, Chip. Um, the other thing is, it's not like selfish to do this because we know what we can offer them, and a person planning an event needs to be able to count on the vendors to be there on time, to be friendly, to service their clients well. So when we know that we can do that and we do the work to let them know who we are, if it's a gift to them. I don't know if I'm making it, if I'm saying it in a logical way,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's hard to be an event planner and you need to have good vendors. And also, self-employment is a lonely business. So when you get your people that you like to work with and they show up, like let's say there's a event planner that you like, and you also know the caterer and some of the other um, people that would be working it, it's so fun to show up and it's like, you get to work with friends, starting with the coordinator.
Exactly. That's where it's about because you can trust people, and you can know, like, and you can trust them. Real quick, I don't do these types of photography a lot, but recently I had the, well, unfortunate, some people say unfortunate, but it was fortunate for us because it was such a celebration of life. I did a funeral, believe it or not. It's
Hmm.
through a planner. I don't really photograph that many funerals, celebration of life.
Hmm.
And it was a very, the gentleman was, what you say, a planner gave it to me. The guy was really well off, and he was well off. We got millions of dollars to this university, and he had a really big funeral and a repast. It was at a hotel ballroom. So I had never done a funeral repast at a hotel ballroom before,
Hmm.
but the family was just so grateful, for not only the planner but like for what we gave, that and the planner, I worked with her before, and she could count on me and my colleague. We
Right.
came dressed professionally, we came on time, and it was an all day situation. It was like from 10
Mhm.
a.m. We didn't leave there till like 5 p.m. And we charged a pretty good amount for it. But it was, the price be aside, it was more of who can we trust with this event to make
Right.
sure that we won't be all up in people's face. We had long lenses. We were very respectful. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was like that. Who can I trust? Like when I got remarried in 2024, I said, who can I trust with my wedding? I do this all the
Right.
time.
Hmm.
So me hiring a photographer, I had a lot of people in my inbox. I told my wife, my fiance at the time, I said, you know what? I trust this guy because I know him and I know that I'll trust him with my day, you know?
Hmm.
And that was the long and short of it. Who can you trust?
Yes. So what I'm hearing too is that people should take a look inward too and figure out if they are trustworthy. What does it take to be trustworthy?
Mm,
That like we can put it all out there, but I think um and not just trustworthy like as a human being, but our skills. Like, are we saying yes to jobs that we are capable and confident that we can totally do it? And,
hmm
being having the skills on many levels, that's part of trustworthy. So, I'm getting distracted by the beautiful strip of light on your back wall. I,
Okay, the
photographer.
sun, the
It's
sun, the
yes, I love
sun
it.
is coming
Love it.
here.
All of a sudden, squirrel. No,
Yeah.
light. Yeah, yeah. So we're just about out of time. Let's see if I had any other quickie. Um, okay, so I got two questions. One, you mentioned that you have a free gift, and Yeah, you're going to have to go to the show notes to find this because it's a long content.chipdizard.com/free dash event dash planner dash course dash
Yeah,
photographer.
yeah, just go.
So, but maybe transcript.
Uh-huh.
Someone could find it. So what is that free gift that you have created for us?
Yeah, so it's really a mini course of what I was talking about of how to work with event planners, or whether it's a wedding planner, whether it's an event planner, as event associate, and how to just not only offer value, but a step-by-step way, and even an email script of how to reach out, even when you cold outreach. Even though that's not my favorite thing to do, but sometimes you have to reach out cold. So I think it will really help, whether you're a seasoned photographer or new, to get in with people to just learn so they can learn about you and really get business.
I am just thinking, oh, I got to go download. I wonder if he's got that today ready.
Yes,
So,
it is
yay.
ready today. It
All
is
right.
ready.
So
It
I always
is.
love question number two is to just leave the floor open for you for any last either tip or thought or, you know, inspiration. Uh, what would you like to share before we wrap up?
I would like to share in 2026, when you're listening to this, uh, I want you to just stay consistent. And I think consistency matters. I know gear, we all love to talk about what we shoot on and how we shoot and what we do, but consistency matters. And if you're consistent and keep on following up, top of mind, like Lucy gave us the thing about a mortgage broker, that is how you win.
Hmm.
Forget all the tips and tricks and all the other stuff that people can talk about. I think it's a consistency matters.
Yeah.
Just keep on showing up. When you want to give up, there's a thing when others want to give up, I want you to keep going. There's just
Mhm.
one more in you. It's kind of that. So make up in your mind that you take it 1 inch further. And it's kind of like when I used to lift weights, the spotter used to say, give me one more, give me one more. I said, I can't. And then I end up giving three more. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So
Hmm.
that's what I want you to do this year. Be consistent and push yourself, because there's more in you. So I think if there's anything you remember for this, there's more in me. There's
Yes.
always more in me.
I love it. I love it. So like Dora, finding Nemo, just keep
Yes.
swimming. But
Yes.
also what I hear in that is like if you're consistently bad and you're not growing, that's not what you're saying.
No.
But consistently pushing,
Pushing.
creating, finding more in yourself. Being the one that doesn't say, "Oh, this is impossible," and quit and complain, but just keep grit is the term, or my daddy used to call
Yes.
it stick to itiveness.
Yes. That's it.
He's
That's
said
it.
that a lot. Well, thank you so much, Chip. And this is a perfect way to start a new year is to have a conversation with someone with your smile and energy and all that positivity. So
Thank you.
thank you. And everyone stay tuned for a little bit of wrap up. But you're still I still have a crush on you, Chip. So
Thank you. Thank you.
take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for having me.
So here I am back after saying goodbye to Mr. Chip. And I think you might have a crush on him too, right? He's so nice and he's so good at um, explaining things, the wisdom that he has accumulated. So let's see, just a few little things I got out of it. One about marketing is he said marketing is not chasing, but nurturing. And I think that's brilliant. Relationships, nurturing relationships, making connections is such a powerful tool in having consistent work and getting referrals. Um, we talked about how, especially as you've been building your business, um, you've got resources that you may not be thinking about. And so think about what's already there. For example, brides and grooms could be good sources for event headshots, um, other referrals. Uh, we talked about how keeping contact with your clients, getting their emails, their phone numbers, their addresses, and using those and not just social media um, is a solid foundation because social media can change like the wind, he said. Um, he talked about the importance of for event planners and such is think about what you can give and not just jump in and try to get when you're networking and you're building those relationships. And then his final thought, I love this, is the importance of being consistent, just showing up inch by inch, step by step, keep doing it. And so, anywho, LucyDumasCoaching.com. And don't forget, if you're listening to this, you can watch us on the YouTube's The Profitable Photographer, or if you're watching on YouTube and you'd like to listen to the edited version, although I don't foresee a lot of editing with this one, but I'm on all the platforms, including LucyDumasCoaching.com. So that's it for now. Hope your start of whatever, if you're listening in January or you're listening in the summer or years from now, hope you're just having a really, really great month. And that's it. Bye for now.